of these is burnt out. Oh, not that one. Hello and welcome to Hit or Miss Monday. I'm Mike, and this is Bubba's Workbench. So before we get started, I think it's time I explain what this hit or miss segment is all about. Since I'm afraid this is going to start looking like a Harbor Freight review channel, although a large amount of these reviews are going to be Harbor Freight products, it's time I explain myself. And as I'm building this shop and building this channel, due to budget constraints or no budget constraints, I'm not able to always buy the exact tool I want to get. So I have to look for a cheaper version. And what do many of us do when we're looking for an inexpensive tool? You go to Harbor Freight. Well, so what I plan to do is get the tools I need and provide you with the feedback to make an educated decision on your own whether or not it's going to be worth you making the investment. In other words, I'm going to waste my money instead of you wasting yours. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Anyways, let's get into today's product, and we're going to review, or I'm going to review, this Harbor Freight corner clamp. Well, as with pretty much any clamp, corner clamp's no exception, there's really two things you're concerned with. And you want the clamp to hold your workpiece firmly and accurately. And what do I mean by accurately? Well, in the that's with most clamps, corner clamp no exception, but in the case of this corner clamp, you know, you have a fixed jaw and then you typically have a moving jaw. That's pretty much how they all work. Well, you want the fixed jaw to be parallel to its base. If it's not, 90 degree, well, no matter what you put in there, it's not going to be standing at 90 degree. And the same goes with the clamp that goes against the fixed clamp or jaw. You want them to be parallel. And the other thing that's kind of a concern is there's usually going to be a certain amount of play in the movable jaw. And I think it's important to have a little bit because you can't expect your workpiece to be perfect. So you want the jaw to compensate a little bit. But if there's too much slop, it could slide off and not be centered, and that's not good either. So in the case of Harbor Freight, it does both of those very well. The jaws seem parallel to each other, it's parallel to the base, and it's just the right amount of slop, and it even has this extra piece of metal in the back that kind of keeps it locked there. So what is good about that is if there's something really tall and there's any amount of torquing, you don't have to worry about this pulling up. That's a great bonus. And then get into the construction of this. One thing that I was pretty surprised to see is it actually has an Acme thread in it. And for those that may not know, Acme threading, it's a military standard. And I believe they're only used in, say, applications where you need repeated ability to torque something down. A bolt is simply to attach something. It's not meant to be tightened and loosened. And you look at the threads, they're really thin. An Acme bolt, they are thread. They're thick. They're consistently thick, the same. Bolts have a taper to them. And, a bolt, if you loosen and tighten, you're going to weaken the threads and it could strip out. Well, an Acme thread, it's not going to happen. You're going to be able to repeatedly tighten something down and you're going to get the same expected results each time without failure. And so there you go. Harbor Freight has that. It has the quick release button, that's great for a clamp because you have this thing pulled out and you're trying to put in a little quarter-inch piece of wood and we'll be there soon. Just hang on, quarter-inch. You just push the button. Same with releasing it. You can pull it out of the way and that's just a bonus feature right there. So back to when I was describing this channel, I pointed out that I'm looking for lower cost alternatives. Now, oftentimes if something's lower cost, it's going to be maybe of lower quality in its build or its functionality. And I'm very big on quality. I mean, that's very important because I don't want to be able to blame the tool on the product, or I don't want to be able to blame the tool on the outcome of my project. I want to be able to blame this tool for the poor workmanship. But this tool, did I say that enough times, tool? This is not a secondary item. You know, I'm giving the implication that you can't buy the best, so you have to settle for less. Well, with this particular clamp from Harbor Freight, you could make this your go-to clamp for at least the corner clamps, and not feel bad about it. I mean, I have not seen anything yet to indicate that this isn't going to last for quite some time and give me repeatability that I'm looking for in my clamp. You know, when you're gluing something up, you don't have time for that clamp to fail. You got glue. It's going to set pretty quick. So with that, I mean, this clamp is a definite hit, and I don't call this a secondary, as I just stated. You can make this your go-to clamp. So with that, you know, I hope I've provided you enough information to take a chance on that clamp, and I think you'll find the exact same results. So with that, until next time, you take care.